Instagrammers, YouTubers, iTuners, iHeartRadio listeners. You're listening to the Intimacy Chronicles. I am the host and creator, Queen Jackie. Tonight, I am without my two co-hosts, but me and the man in charge and I will be holding the fort down. So, Nick, you want to introduce yourself?
She caught me off guard. I'm trying to get everything together. She see me over here working.
I know.
They're gonna say, Nick. You know what I'm saying? See, that's that mommy issue. That's that bullshit.
Here we go with the bullshit.
That's that bullshit.
So tonight, I decided after having a discussion with a couple of male friends of mine, I wanted to talk about daddy-mommy issues. And the reason we got into that type of conversation, and for the men out there listening, how many of you men like for your women to call you daddy in the middle of sex? And if you could call in, our call-in number is 855-493-6499. Now, here's my take on it, and please feel free to chime in. You can disagree with me if you like, but after looking at statistics and doing my own investigation with regards to that, it's pretty interesting. Now, I have always had a great relationship with my dad. So I've never, not even once, considered calling a man daddy.
Wow.
I think that's so
the dick was never good for you to say daddy.
No, it's not that. I don't want to call another man daddy, and all of a sudden, a visualization of my dad pops into my face. You understand?
Okay.
And so I only have one daddy. So I don't feel a need to stroke a man's ego by saying daddy. What I find after doing my research, because I got to know what I'm talking about when I have these topics. Informally said, damn. What I find, a lot of women that refer to their men as daddy in that moment have broken relationships with their dads. I've talked to quite a few different women regarding this, and what I found was that most of those women either have a limited, or I should say a limited relationship with their dad, maybe no relationship at all, and perhaps in some kind of way that man represents that daddy figure. But the idea of calling a guy daddy while we're in the midst of sex makes me cringe. But I want to know about the men. Men, do you all love for your woman to call you daddy, and why? Is it like a hero syndrome? Yeah, I'm waxing that ass, so she better call me daddy. I mean, I want to know like the reason behind it. I don't want to be riding the hell out of somebody and they say, oh, mommy. You know what I'm saying? That's going to fuck up the orgasm for me. I'm just saying me personally.
I hear you. But for me, fuck that. Praise me. Make me feel good.
So why, okay, even with just what you just said, why can't she just say, ooh, Big Nick? Why does she have to call you daddy?
It's I guess a title of empowerment. Like, damn. You know, like it matters on what type of daddy. It gotta be like, fuck me, daddy. You know what I mean? Like,
it still comes down to daddy.
You know, it's different type of daddies. You know what I mean? Like, ooh, daddy. You know what I mean? Like, it's different type of daddies, you know?
Yeah.
Different tones and actions.
I think that, to me, I can't get past daddy is daddy. I have one daddy. I think that's the thing with me. So, Informless, you said why? Why what? Why do they want to be called daddy or what? I mean, I really need to understand from the man's standpoint, because I don't feel like there's anything sexy in calling my dude daddy. So lead the community. We are talking about daddy mommy issues. Why do some women want to refer to their men as daddy? I've never heard. It's funny. You said no. I was saying I don't. Why I like it. Okay. You don't know why you like it, or what I want to know is for the men, when she's calling you daddy, does it give you a bigger hard on? I mean, what is it? It make him feel assertive as the head of the household.
Yeah.
Listen. I think you can still be assertive without me referring to you as my daddy, because I've had a daddy. I don't need another daddy. I need a husband. So I can come up with my own pet names, but daddy isn't one of them. And I think too, because I've had a great relationship with my daddy, I never felt the need to call another man daddy. And I think that has a lot to do with it too. As I said earlier, most of the women that I know that do that, they have daddy issues. Yeah, now I'm okay with that. Lead the community. I like that. I could call him king, my man Dinka warrior. I can say all of that, but
you ain't gonna say that shit during sex.
Daddy.
Don't nobody say fuck me, king. Fuck me.
No,
Don't
but
nobody
I like
say that shit.
I really like that.
Yeah,
but
you can call him that, but you ain't saying that shit during no sex.
I don't.
That shit is whack. It don't even.
I like that.
Flow.
I really do like that. It's like I just like. Wait a minute. Lead the community said I just like the aggressive tone. I don't care for the daddy part. Okay, that's my point. I mean, to each his own, but I know that there are a lot of men that like it. I do like she can call me king, because I think that's, to me, I think that's sexy. And Formless says, it's been too long and I wasn't present enough. Okay. I think I can say, ooh, fuck me, king, fuck me. That's kind of, for me, I feel like that's sexy. I do like that. I think that, but I'm not really calling names. And I think when I am at that point and I'm getting ready to orgasm, here are my favorite words. Oh, fuck. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's me, but I'm not saying daddy. Now, for the women that are listening, please tell me why you feel the need to call a man daddy. And Formless says, my ex had major dad issues. She actually asked me if she could say that. And that's the point that I was making. Most of the women that refer to their men as daddy have daddy issues. You can't fix that in an orgasm. I'm just saying. So calling him daddy isn't going to fix your daddy issues. I believe that it's from daddy issues. Yeah, absolutely. And that was the point that I was making. I had this discussion, the last few days with different groups of people. But the women that I have spoke with, most of them have daddy issues. So in the bedroom, they bring their daddy issues. So you're saying, ooh, daddy. I think there's something a bit twisted about it. How about start to get healing for your daddy issues before you refer to the person jumping up and down on you as daddy? But that's my thought. And I'm not judging people, but I guess my point is, does that have a place in the bedroom? If those are your issues, does it have a place? And I guess from a man perspective, your ego probably saying, yeah, I'm waxing that ass because she calling me daddy. So y'all don't look at it like the women have daddy issues. I'm tearing that ass up. So yeah, keep calling me daddy. Call me daddy. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, definitely. When women have daddy issues because that daddy treated them bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's hard for them. And I understand that.
Yeah.
But ain't nobody saying fuck me king. Come on now.
Well, if you listen. So, if a guy said to me, "Ooh, fuck me, mommy, fuck me," he's gonna fuck up my mood. I'm not bullshitting. I'm just, if I was getting ready to climax, he would have done fucked that all up. I'm just saying, for me, you know.
So, do you give them a pre-warning?
That I'm, yeah.
That, look, if we fucking, don't say mommy.
Yeah, I
ain't
never
gonna
had
say
anybody
no daddy.
do that. You know, you can call me anything, but don't call me mommy. I'm not your mother. You know, I think that's a little different, you know. Lead the community, say, laugh out loud. But it is different, you know. You like it because it's empowerment. And it's a confirmation to you that you're laying it down. Right?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I want to be confirmed. Just like the president get motherfucking confirmed. Fuck that. We at the inaugural ball. And I'm laying that pipe. And yeah, I want to be confirmed.
So you need that validation.
You motherfucking right.
But daddy, she can call you anything.
That shit gonna make my heart beat a little faster. Gonna get me a little harder, you know?
Informula said, yes, that would be weird for me too. Lead the Community says, I'll call my girl mamas. I don't even see any mamas. I could kind of understand that, but mommy is a little different. And I just don't want to be known as somebody's mommy in the midst of sex. Hey, Pablo, thanks for joining. I gotta let you know the topic tonight is we're discussing daddy-mommy issues, and in the bedroom, do you like to be called Poppy, Daddy? I'm only saying Poppy because you're Puerto Rican, so does that bother you when you're referred to as Daddy or Poppy in the bedroom? Again, our call-in number is 855-493-6499. I think women that do that, I think that they probably don't even realize that they've taken their daddy issues into the bedroom. Yeah. I think that if they understood where it came from, maybe they would be less likely to say it. You understand? I think people don't realize certain actions that we have are a lot of times things that we experienced as children. If you didn't have a great relationship with your dad or your mom, you're going to carry that into your relationship in some way or another. I had a guest last year, or maybe year before last, that talked about his distrust of women. And it was because his mother was a cheater. So he looked at all women as cheaters. So his relationships were strained because there was no trust. And he never, I think, worked through those trust issues that stem from his mom. And those are the things I'm talking about. When we have those kind of mommy-daddy issues, whether you want to believe it or not, if you've never gotten any healing for it, it does play a role in your relationships. Pablo said it's most common in Latin. The example is the key. Explain, Pablo. But I think that, it's true. Like, I think I talked about one thing in particular. I think I always put it out there that my dad was a serial cheater. And I said for a long time I was kind of skeptical about marriage, not so much that my mate would be a cheater, but that I would be a serial cheater. And I struggled with that for a long time because in the past I had been known to cheat. So I think I was kind of like, maybe I shouldn't get married and taking this baggage into that relationship. But I learned to work through it and confront my own issues, because we are not our parents. So we have to create our own path. Yeah, I agree. The culture is sometimes the problem. So I think if we took ownership of what we learned, what we saw coming up, then perhaps we wouldn't be so quick to take that into our relationships. I think when you refer to a man or a woman as daddy or mommy, maybe you've convinced yourself that that's sexy. But if you actually examine the reason you feel the need to do that, it's a deeper issue. And Formless says, me too, I was what I seen in other people. Exactly. And I think a lot of times we don't take ownership of that. I think that we don't realize their issues back then was their issues. We didn't have to make them ours. But if we're not going to take ownership in how certain things that we saw coming up impact our life, then we will continue the same cycle. And I feel like it starts with us. Like I said, I thought I was going to be a serial cheater. So I was very hesitant about getting married, because I felt like, what's the point if I'm going to follow in my dad's footsteps and constantly cheat? Because I had done it in previous relationships. I had to figure out a way to overcome that and not make his issue my issue. And I think that we do that a lot of times. I think we make their issues ours and feel like, this is what I saw, so this is how it's supposed to be. And it doesn't have to be that way. So in terms of, I can think of so many sexy things that I could say to my dude. You know, I do like king or motherfucker. You know, it kind of depends on how good he's hitting it. But I never felt the need to say, ooh, daddy. Because I think that's weird. I think it makes me cringe to think about it. And you're right, Pablo. We have to break the cycle. We don't have to live the lives that our parents lived. I think that as individuals, we create our own path. We create our own traditions. I think that with everything, you take the good traditions, you know, make them yours if you choose. But the bad ones, you don't have to own. You don't have to be a product of what you've seen, you know. So I think for those people that are into the daddy mommy thing, to each his own. But I would definitely recommend getting to the root and why you feel the need and calling your significant other daddy or mommy, because that's a little different for me. So I think when you start to think about I guess the heaviness of it, like, ooh daddy, I just wonder if when people are saying that, do you get a visual of your parent? You know what I'm saying? It's different. I'm laughing because I don't understand it. I think, you know. But again, to each his own. I think that when you're coming up and you see your parents do certain things, like, you know, even still growing up in a household with domestic violence, I knew enough to know that that wasn't the type of relationship I wanted. I think that a lot of men back then that were physically abusive, they did it because of what they saw. I think they thought that maybe that's how it was supposed to be, and so that's what they did. I think they were never taught how to control their anger, because the only thing that they saw was that their dad was beating on their mom. I like that, Pablo. I like that. Pablo says he calls his wife Lovey.
That's nice. That's nice.
Yeah, I like that. And I think it's sweet, you know?
Yeah.
What do you call when you had a significant other? What do you call her? Bae. I like Bae too.
Just keep it simple.
Yeah.
Bae.
Yeah. So you've never, in the midst of your orgasm, oh, mommy. I'm just asking.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I have.
Okay.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie.
And so, what's her reaction when you do that? When you say that?
I guess they be so into it. She probably don't even pay it no fucking mind. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, because it's like, you know, you just be like, God damn, ma. You know what I mean?
I think Ma is different, though. You know what I mean? Ma isn't mommy. Mommy is a little different.
Okay.
I think mommy is like mothers, like daddy is like your father.
Right.
Ma, I don't know. I'm like, I still don't want to be called Ma, but I think it's different. Mommy normally in Latin culture is like calling boo or bae. Okay, I can see that.
Right.
Mama is the word. So, is it a deal breaker for you if she doesn't call you daddy?
No, it ain't no deal breaker.
Okay.
You know what I mean? She can call me fat boy, you know? Mm-hmm. Fat ass, you fucking the shit out me. You know, shit like that. You see, I'm a funny motherfucker.
Yeah,
so,
you are.
You know what I mean? So, that's like, you know, it don't matter. You know, put that belly on me, shit like that. You know, that's the shit I like, you know.
Okay.
I like interactive sex.
I like interactive sex. I like my hair pulled and shit like that.
I like to hit her ass with a pillow while I'm giving her the dick. You know, shit like that, you know.
I like to be spanked. You know, I like all that. But you got to spank in rhythm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't just come from left field and spank. And I'm like, hold up. Because you done messed up my rhythm. You got to have some rhythm to it. You know what I'm saying?
I know we having some issues on our Facebook. I'm trying to figure it out.
Okay.
But I'm
trying
to fix it.
I think I like for you to talk like dirty to me. You know what I'm saying? I want you to cuss and tell me I'm gonna fuck this shit. All of that stuff. You can say all of the dirtiest shit, but just don't call me mommy. Let's just not do that because it's just you're probably not getting any more. You don't get a call back. I'm just saying. And maybe that might be petty, but that's how I feel. So Pablo was saying mama is the word for mother. So yeah, if someone said mama, if a woman called the man mama, vice versa. If the man called the woman mama, that's like, I'm not your mother. So I guess it's different strokes for different folks, but I guarantee you that most of the men and women that say that probably don't even realize they have those mommy daddy issues because they probably never even put any thought into it. It's funny because I wish Dr. Love was here because I would definitely have liked to have gotten his feedback. What you say? Mammy, queen reaction. I guess it's whatever floats your boat, but I cringe at the thought of that. So, what does she call you, Pablo? Pablo, you should call in. You should call into the show. It's 855-493-6499.
Yeah, definitely call in, yeah.
Give us a call, Pablo. I appreciate you joining us every week along with Fly Guy Steven. He listens every week, and I appreciate that. That means a lot. What's the weirdest... Oh, she calls you Boo. Okay, I like Boo. What's the weirdest name that you've been called?
Like doing sex?
Yeah. That shit is funny.
Yeah. Damn, the weirdest thing. Somebody called me Left Eye.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Motherfucking chick called me motherfucking Left Eye one time, man. You fucking the shit out of me, Left Eye.
Okay.
And I had to ask her, like, Afro, where the fuck you get the Left Eye shit? She said, oh, that's our girlfriend name that we give you. So that's when I knew I was in the side piece zone.
Oh, yeah, so I guess there's different names for the side piece. Pablo said in his case, Panda.
Panda.
That's the weirdest name.
Oh, that's different.
I think that's different, but I think it's kind of cute. You know, I'm trying to think of what's the weirdest name I've been called. If I had to think, it's not even weird. It's I think the weirdest name was like Susie Q, and I'm like, what? Okay, whatever. It was different. I don't think it's a sexy name, but that's what he thought at the time.
Right.
So, what's that? Why is that up?
Oh no, that's catching up with us.
Okay.
Yeah, it's old. That's because I switched off to different camera.
Okay.
I thought the other camera was messed up. You know, I always have a backup.
You do have a backup. I appreciate that. What's the sexiest name that you think you called someone?
Ooh. Mamacita. I used to fuck with a when I was in college. I used to fuck with a Puerto Rican chick, and I used to call her Mamacita.
Okay.
Yeah.
The weirdest name that I called a guy was Dick Dacity, because I was like, your dick has the audacity to tear this ass up. And he liked it, and that was his shit. It was like, I think that shit really turned him on. So he was like, oh yeah, you gotta call me that name again. You know, I like that shit. You know, he was telling his friends
he
and
probably
shit.
thought he was a stripper
Dick
and
Dacity,
shit.
you know, she calls me Dick Dacity, all of that. But I thought, I felt like he earned that name, because if I go to sleep and I got my goddamn thumb in my mouth, mouth, and I'm like, oh shit, he really put it down like that. So
damn, he took you back to baby stages.
that's what I'm trying to say. I was drooling and everything. So
God damn.
Yeah, like, God
Took you
damn,
back to the
Dick
crib.
Dacity, man.
He took you back to the baby crib.
I'm trying to tell you.
That baby crib dick.
I'm trying to tell you. Oh my God, it's crazy. It's crazy. So, but yeah, that was like probably the weirdest name that I called somebody, and they liked it. So that's not a name that too many have earned, I should say.
So there's only one Dick Dacity, huh?
There's only one Dick Dacity, and I think what made him Dick Dacity is his shit had a hook on it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, he was a motherfucking pirate. He was a dick pirate.
Exactly. I was like, God damn. I felt like Eddie Murphy and Boomerang. You gonna call me?
So he was Sunshine.
Oh my God, yes, absolutely, absolutely. So we all have our, pet names that we give to the person we're with at the time, be it boyfriend, girlfriend, wife, husband. But I think for me, there are some names that are just off the table.
Right. Mommy.
That's definitely off the table. Daddy, just not. Right. It's not happening.
So you'll break up a whole relationship over that one word.
That shit is like a red flag to me. It's a red flag.
But maybe he just don't know.
But I think those are conversations that you have probably before sex. Whatever you do, don't fucking call me mom.
But sometimes you can meet a person and not really have no conversation before sex.
True.
You know what I mean?
That's true.
Sometimes shit just happen.
But if you don't, because I agree, if you don't have that conversation and that comes out, it's like, oh, I can't even get right now.
Right.
This session is over.
We're done.
We're done. I'll explain why he might look like, oh, she a little crazy. But it's like, that's my thing. Like, don't call me that. You can call me a lot of other shit. Don't call me that. So, yeah, I guess we all have our thing.
How about the mommy daddy issues in a relationship, far as like other people dealing with their mother being in that relationship or their daddy in that relationship? And
that's another thing.
Let's go there.
Yeah, I think which is a good topic, because I think that what happens in your relationship should be in your relationship.
Right. You shouldn't be your whole family in your relationship.
Your parents, your family don't have a place in your relationship. And then here's one of the things I've learned over the years. When people want to say, oh, I wouldn't do this or I wouldn't take that.
Right.
You look
They
at
be the
their
main ones that's doing
right.
it.
Look at their relationships. Look at how many successful relationships they've had. I'm not taking advice from you if you haven't had a successful relationship.
Right.
And then what I find a lot of times when you are having problems, and if you decide to share it with somebody, the main ones that have something negative to say are probably a lot of times envious of the relationship that you have.
Ooh.
And so they're not always going to give you the best advice.
Right.
And I say that if there is an issue between you and your mate, my first thing would be to try to resolve it with your mate before you bring it to your family members and get their 2 cents in it.
Right.
You know, because not everybody that smiles in your face, be it family or friend, has your best interests at heart.
Right.
And that's what I learned. And I think that I wouldn't have been able to be married as long as I have been if I had brought other people into the relationship.
Right.
If I'm going to fuck up my shit, it's going to be on my own.
Right.
Not because of what somebody else says, you know.
Okay.
And I think that you do have to be mindful about
Who you talk to.
And even if it comes down to your parents, because sometimes parents might not have had the best relationships and may be envious of yours.
Yeah.
You know, so they're not going to advise you properly.
Or some parents might think, because they're in a relationship, they're not going to be there for me.
Right. That's so
you know
they try to sabotage.
They're interrupting what I got going on.
They try to sabotage it.
Yeah.
Now, I have to be honest with this, because being married for a long time, I think that everybody assumed that the in-laws, you're going to be close to the in-laws.
Ooh.
So in my relationship, I was never close with my mother-in-law.
Wow.
Even now.
From day one.
I tried. I definitely tried. My mother encouraged me to have a relationship with her because my mom had such a great relationship with my grandmother. Like, my grandmother treated my mom as her daughter. So my mom did the same thing for her son-in-laws and daughter-in-law.
Right.
She treated them like they were her extended children. And I always respected her and my grandmother for that. So in my case, I think in my case, they liked his children mother.
Okay.
You know,
Better, more than you.
More than me. And I always felt like they always
didn't never give you a chance.
They always made it clear. You know what I'm saying? And what I mean by that is they always invited her to all of the family gatherings and stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you think they did that just to get a laugh? I know
they did it on purpose because they had a relationship with her.
Right.
And for me, I've never been shy about expressing how I feel.
Okay.
So I'm not going to kiss your ass when I know that you don't like me. So if you say something that's kind of out the way to me, I'm not going to shy away from it. You understand? So in our relationship, I always felt like there were times where, like, my mother-in-law, I felt like would kind of like start trouble between us. And I think that happens in some relationships, especially if they might not have had the best relationship with their husband.
Right.
And they have good boys, and those boys have great relationships with their wives.
Right.
So I think the mom struggles to find her place. You know, when my son was married, I wanted him to be happy.
Right.
I wanted to be the same type of mother-in-law that my mom and grandmother was.
Okay.
Be supportive and understand that your child doesn't do everything right.
Right, yeah.
You know, so when my son would have issues or the young lady would call me, I listened.
Right.
Because I know how important that was.
Yeah, just to listen.
Right, exactly. It wasn't my place to offer an opinion, but just to be an ear. But after we're done talking, I might call my son and say, what's going on?
Right, and play like you don't know shit.
Exactly.
So is that hard to do? Like,
it
to
is
play
hard
dumb?
to do. It's
know what I
definitely
mean?
hard to do. But I think some of the issues that, she may have complained about, I know my son, and I knew she wasn't lying.
Right.
And I think that's the thing. You have to know your kids well enough to know that if there's an issue, like when him and I used to have problems, my mom the first thing she would say, "What did you do?" Because she knew her children. And I think parents have to learn to be objective,
right,
and not choose sides, because your child isn't always right.
Absolutely.
And let's say, for argument's sake, that your relationship with the previous person is great. It is a disrespect to the wife to consistently invite the old girlfriend over.
Yeah.
It's really disrespectful. But
unless y'all get along.
We did. We never had an issue.
Right.
Never, ever. We worked together for the betterment of the children. It was that outside shit that...
Right.
Yeah. So her and I never had an issue. But I think, like, if I want to use myself as an example, in the case of my son and his family, my son and his father's family,
right,
they always loved me. They always invited me to a lot of different things. But because I was a woman and he was dating, I wouldn't go.
Wow.
Because we were no longer together. And
okay,
that's not fair to the other woman.
To the new one.
Because they're not going to get to know her if I'm there.
Right.
So I was woman enough to take myself out of the equation.
Absolutely.
Where a lot of people aren't. I think sometimes people feel like they wish that they had been the one that, he chose, or whatever the case may be. So the fact that they still have the tie to the family, they want to play on that.
Right.
I find that to be the case a lot of times. I think the amazing thing that even now, years later, I'm cordial with my mother-in-law.
Okay.
But we're not close.
Okay.
We're not close because I think over time so many different things have happened, and I'm just not going to keep turning my cheek when you do stuff that I feel like is to come between the relationship. Right. Yeah. I always admired my parents for just kind of being neutral.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think those are the things that you learn when you get older and you marry into families, or your children get married. It's not your relationship. And I think parents need to butt out and let them figure their own way.
Right. If you like what we talking about, because we finally got the Facebook fix, call in, y'all. It's 1-855-493-6499. Call in. We are here in the studio, me and Jackie on a one-on-one. I don't know why she suckered me into this shit today. But it's all good. It's all good.
Really good. You've been married? Have you been married?
Nah, never been married.
Okay.
Never been. I've been close. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean, with my but never been married.
Okay. Do you want to be married?
I think as I'm getting older, yes, because I can't see myself in my older years without having that significant other.
Okay.
So my thoughts on marriage have changed. The problem I have is I want a person that really trusts my judgment. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
That's my main thing. Like, trust my judgment.
Right.
If you're gonna let me lead, let me lead.
Yeah, and I think that's. I'm glad that you brought that up. I think sometimes as women, I'm gonna say, especially black women, mm-hmm, we have a hard time being submissive. We have a hard time being submissive because of trust issues.
Right.
So
formal relationships,
you might have put your trust in the wrong person, so you're going to judge everybody based on that. Pablo says the best thing is to have a good relationship with the children, even if the marriage is over. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that you said that, because with my extended children, I feel like we have a great relationship.
Right.
I've never had problems with that, and I think because we always had open communication.
Right.
And I think that's key. I think that you can't say I do and I love somebody and not accept their children.
Right.
And I see people do that, and I'm always wondering, how the hell does that happen? How can you go into a relationship and not be accepting of their children,
right,
and yet they are accepting of yours? Isn't that selfish?
Yeah, that's very selfish.
That's very selfish, and it's a level of insecurity as well. I feel like there would be so much harmony in the family unit if you accepted both.
Right.
You know? So I felt like in my relationship, there was no way that I could not have a relationship with his children and him have one with mine.
Right.
You know, so I think that you have to be mature about it. You all are not together. Move the fuck on.
Yeah.
And do what's in the best interest of the children.
Kids, right.
Yeah, because it's no longer
because
about
everything that's going on in the relationship, kids can feel it. They can feel it.
Kids can feel it. It's the same way for people that probably should have been over, but they stay together for the sake of the children. And I say to people all the time, do you realize how much damage you're doing to the child? Because they can sense that tension between you, and then they begin to think, is this something that they did that mommy and daddy aren't connecting?
Right.
They begin to blame themselves. So when those parents decide, okay, we're going to get a divorce or whatever, first thing the child wants to know, is it my fault? How can I fix it?
Right.
When my parents separated, I think I was like 12. What I liked was that they sat us down and talked to us. And then
together.
Oh,
that was cool.
Yeah,
that's kind of cool because that's
parents,
hard for some parents to do that.
Man, when I think about my childhood and my parents, I swear I learned so much from them and how to do things. I think if they hadn't sat us down, it may have been difficult for us.
Right.
And I remember when they told us, we were crying. So to make it a smooth transition, because we had just got out of school for the summer, to make it a smooth transition, they agreed to let us go stay with my father and his friend for the summer. And we got to know her. I remember that her and my mom they had a cordial relationship. Because she really cared for us. Not only did she care for us, but her and I both were epileptics. So any
I'm in the laugh.
I mean, it's seriously though, and she was kind of crazy a little bit, but any new treatments and things of that nature, yeah, she would definitely let my mom know. A lot of programs that I got a chance to participate in was because of her.
Okay.
And that was them putting their differences aside.
Right. For the better of the children.
Exactly. Yeah. Now, she didn't know that she was getting involved with a serial cheater. Right. Because even after they was together for probably about a year or so, he cheated on her. And then she wanted to call my mother.
He probably was cheating and going into the shit.
Right. She wanted to call and tell my mother about it. My mother was like, you wanted him?
Right.
You got him.
You got him. You got what you asked for, you know?
Ain't that some bullshit? You want to call a wife and say, well, he cheated on me. Right. Well, how you think you got him?
Like, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, that's weird.
I must say I had a colorful child.
Yeah. So the new wife calling the old wife.
Yeah, like, well, he didn't marry her. They just were boyfriend and girlfriend,
right.
You know. But yeah, he cheated
on her. The
side
piece calling the wife,
right?
basically.
And I want to say he probably cheated on us on her while we was with her. You know what I'm
saying? Yeah. He probably was getting it in.
And you know, and since we're going down that road, I want to talk to the women out here that are always talking about, I'm looking for a God-fearing man. You know, and half of you can't even tell me what a goddamn God-fearing man is.
Right.
And let me just tell y'all, all of the players run to the church because they know that you women are looking for God-fearing men, and all you have to do is see that man show up in church on Sunday, holding the hymn book, reading the Bible, and you have convinced yourself that he's God-fearing.
Right.
So
they said most freaks are in church.
Exactly. And you know, again, growing up in the church.
Right, that was your father.
That was my father.
That was his pick and field.
That was his field of choice.
He would lay him down.
And exactly. And so I remember he was seeing a minister at one time. And
damn, he was smashing ministers.
Man, let me tell you,
God,
I swear I felt like he was the best to ever do it.
was he? Don't tell me your father was a deacon.
He was the Sunday school teacher, and he taught the new members class, which was a lot of women.
So he
most
was
of the
right.
time.
He was picking them off.
Pickings. You know what I'm saying? So because they new members,
He got the new breed.
He got the new ones, exactly. So when I would sit in his class sometimes, because he really was a great teacher, and I always knew that the women that was being extra, asking all these goddamn questions,
right.
I would see that man get the gleam in his eye, like, got one.
You already knew. The little star come out his eye, too.
Yeah, exactly. And so, with a God-fearing man is equal to, what is it? Gangster funk master. Pablo, you something else.
Crazy.
But I think that it's true though. One of the things, like with the minister, she said, and I was a nosy ass child, so I used to ramble through his shit. Be reading letters and cards and shit that he wrote. So she said, you can't get the ass until we get married.
Damn.
So
that was one of his chicks.
And then wait, let me tell you.
What's the whopper stopper?
He was gangster. You know, he was making a lot of money and shit, so buying a ring was nothing.
Right.
He bought that ring and proposed to her to get the ass, but what she didn't know, he was still legally married. So so needless to say, I believe she lost her ministerial license because that shit blew up in the church. Man, that shit blew up big. So,
at y'all home church?
At our home church.
Dang.
Yeah, because he didn't fuck outside the church. You know, he wanted all his shit right there. You know what I'm saying?
In plain view. And the pastor
so
never sat him down
because he was making the spot hot.
Right, for the other guys.
A lot of them other guys was doing their thing, but they wasn't blatantly open with it. And that's funny because a lot of stories came out like after he died and shit, but a lot of stuff I knew. So,
but it got confirmed.
It got confirmed. But my point is, women and men, for those of you that are looking for that God-fearing
dick.
That God-fearing dick or ass. There's a lot of mess up in the church. And if we really want to go there, there's a lot of goddamn mess up in the pulpit because some of these ministers with the power to lead a flock is also manipulating the weak in that flock in the name of God.
Yes, they are.
So, I'm just saying, be careful. I think that if you meet a guy or a woman that doesn't go to church, don't be so quick to condemn them. I think another thing, when you start talking about church and people go to church, I feel like, and y'all can, I don't really give a fuck if y'all get mad, but I feel like black Christians are the most judgmental motherfuckers out there in terms of religion. You know what I'm saying? You go to church, they say come as you are, but then you see the different cliques in church whispering, look at this one, look at that. That is not of God.
The church is just like the real world now.
Exactly.
You know?
That is not of God. So a lot of times I feel like there's so much mess in the church. I just feel like house needs to be clean.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Church has become a social club.
Yeah.
It's the meeting place.
Yeah.
It's worse probably than dating online.
Ooh. ChristianMingle.com, y'all.
Pablo said ministers giving the girls the gangster blessing. So I'm just saying, be mindful. I feel like there are good and bad people everywhere, but if you go to church for the sake of meeting God-fearing, you might get that devil in disguise. You know what I'm saying? Or church people, you know, they say, don't do this or you're going to hell.
Right.
Now, I talk about a lot of different things a lot of times. Let's examine that for a second. Do you think because you go to church every Sunday that you're going to heaven. Because if here ain't right,
it ain't right.
It ain't right.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of times, I don't go every Sunday, but I feel like my faith is stronger than half the motherfuckers sitting in there. I feel like my relationship with God is stronger than half the motherfuckers sitting in there.
You can go to church from your house.
Exactly.
You pull it right up. Hey, I need to hear a sermon. All right, let's listen to Jamal Bryant. I don't got to kick him no money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Let's talk about it.
You know
let's
what I mean?
talk about it. Because when there's an ATM in
church, yes,
because the minister feel like you go to the club the night before and you drop $40,
right?
Don't shortchange God. Well, are we shortchanging God or are we shortchanging you?
Right.
Let's talk about it.
Right.
I'm just saying.
Church have become a hustle.
It's become a hustle. I said that ministers, not all, ministers are modern day pimps.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. To me, it makes no sense for a motherfucking minister to have a private jet.
Yeah,
I don't think it makes sense for you to be driving around in, what is it? The
Maseratis.
That, I mean, is
Bentleys,
that of God or is
got
that of
drivers,
man? Then
got
you got
security
these
that's with them for
that
24 hours.
Exactly. If you're living right, why the fuck do you need security?
Yeah, because Jamal Brown, when he came, I work at Sinai. Yeah. So whenever somebody died or something, and it was a member of his flock, he would come there, his security would come in there first, like he the fucking president.
And that's what I'm saying. But if you living right, do you need that?
Right.
Because see, you done fucked over a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You done fucked a lot of people, but you done fucked over a lot of people.
Yeah.
And so now you need security.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You have to have
it's an image thing.
It's an image thing. Now ministers want to be in entertainment. They want to be actors.
Right.
You know, all this other stuff. And I'm not saying that you can't step outside your ministry to do other things.
Right? Because they have to now. Because how people are not going to church.
Right. And so you have to go to the people. I understand that. But when is it about God, and what is the difference between it being about God and man?
Or you really trying to save people's lives? I'm more on the Christian side because I go to church.
Right.
To me, it's about saving life and changing a person.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
I definitely
agree
with that.
That's what I go for the change in me.
Right.
You know? But when I see somebody that's not, like, it's all about the business side.
It's about the business side.
I can't be there.
I think that I think that's why I always like the smaller churches.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that you feel the most sincerity.
It's
the way it's supposed to be.
Right.
They haven't gotten so political because now some of these ministers want to align themselves with a political figure to help their own cause. Again,
to build a flock.
If you're doing that to empower the community, I'm all for that. But if you're doing it to empower you and further your career, the community is losing.
Yeah, and I hate the churches that are scared to go outside that building.
How is that possible?
You know what I mean?
How is
you
that
in the
possible?
hood? You got a church on the corner.
You're right,
a liquor store. You know what I'm saying? And then on across from that church, this is how my home church was. We was in the middle of the block. We got a liquor store on one side, liquor store on the other side. Matter of fact, 2 liquor stores across the street from each other.
Right.
On the corners. You got the Chinese spot. Then you got the little Chinese food market.
Right.
But we never went in the community.
Right.
And I lived in that community where my home church is.
And that's the craziest thing.
Never did an outside service. I'm trying to tell you.
My lives never walked.
Never rebooted. Never walked around in the community. You know what I mean?
Right.
Nothing. Never did anything for that community. At my home church, grew up, born and raised.
Wow.
Never did nothing in the community.
I think that when you have a church in the community, you have an obligation to that community.
Right.
I grew up in Bethel AME. What I loved is they were always doing something in the community. And even the guys that had drug and alcohol problems, they had jobs in the church.
Wow.
You know, Bishop Bryant was definitely a community guy.
So what happened with the son?
Hollywood. You know, Hollywood happened.
No, he tries to do stuff for the community.
He do try. I do believe that he tries. I think it's a different level of things. But
he lost his image in somewhere.
He lost his imaging, and he became flashy. He wanted to be, like he reminded me. I don't know if you ever seen the movie Which Way Is Up. And it wasn't that. It was Car Wash when Big Daddy Rich came out. Right. That's who he reminds me of. He reminds me of that character. It's a shame, but that is what I think of when I think of him.
Right.
I think when he first came on the scene, I do believe that
his heart was in the right place.
His heart was in the right place, but I think it changed.
Yeah, it became more business.
It became more business. He began to be more of the man that wanted the spotlight, so he showed up. I think he became the modern day Al Sharpton.
You might be right.
Yeah. And
because he's in line. He's in line now.
Exactly.
He's definitely in line. He might be probably second, maybe third in line to be the next big thing. The next great big thing.
Especially now that you're in
Atlanta.
Exactly. Exactly. It's a different flock of ass.
It's a whole different everything.
And the church's reputation has already been built, so you can take it further now. But would I say that he's quiet and still not doing the same thing?
Right.
No, I think that he's still probably
the Baltimore in him just can't stop.
Yeah, exactly. Because he was doing that before he was a minister.
Right.
And I think
because he played the clubs and everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I think that that's a difficult position to be in. And the reason I say that, you might not want to be married, but because of your status, you have to get married.
Yeah, you gotta get it right.
You got it. And I think that is unfair. I say that that's unfair because does that mean I can't lead?
Right.
If I'm not married? So when you're forced to be married, you haven't totally committed.
Right.
You're doing it because you were told that you had to because of your position.
Right.
So,
then he done had some of the bad ones. Tweet.
Exactly. I think that was a publicity stunt.
Nah, he was tearing Tweet ass
I'm
up.
not saying he wasn't, but it was short lived. He sought her out at a time when she was coming out with a new release.
Right.
And then all of a sudden it got quiet. You didn't hear anything else about her.
Right.
So I feel like that was an opportunist move.
Right. I think everything he do is kind of opportunist.
Yeah, exactly.
Even with the move down there, Yeah. I mean, that's a major move, though.
That's a major move, but I think he was as far as he could go here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in that regard,
And he was kind of getting, people were pulling his card here.
Yeah.
Because Baltimore is a city that will pull your
goddamn... We're going to check your ass.
We're going to check you.
Yeah, we're going to check you.
You know what I mean? You only can get away with it for so long.
Exactly.
And he have gotten checked many times here.
Exactly.
A lot of times.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people know him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he's had a lot of different women here, probably abroad. And so... I mean,
probably a lot of them just really didn't put him out there either,
Yeah.
You know
it's
what I
my
mean?
understanding that he tied the court system up quite a bit. So
you talking about the side kids?
The side kids, sexual harassment.
Yeah.
A lot of different charges. I think Essence did a article a few years ago talking about the sexual assault charges against him.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So it's been a lot of
So
things.
Is he so would you consider him the R. Kelly of the gospel world?
I'm not gonna say
he's
that because
bad.
I think that R. Kelly messed with underage girls.
Right.
I never heard that about him.
Nah.
I think that he does have limits.
Right. He's the Pied Piper.
He's the Pied Piper of church kitty. But listen, now let's kind of flip the script a bit.
Right. Did he have daddy issues?
You know
what I'm saying?
I do believe that, and growing up, he was always like the kid that was in trouble about something. You know what I'm saying?
Time.
Yeah. So
Cause you would know, cause you came out the church.
Yeah. So he always had something going on. I tell you, he was really a good practical joker. He can make you laugh like nobody's business. He always had a good sense of humor.
So he was always down to earth.
He was always down to earth. I mean, like their entire family was a good down to earth family.
Right.
But I mean, people have their own path. But I felt like he probably had a lot of pressure on him. His grandfather was a minister's father,
right?
You know, so that's a lot of pressure. Even if you might not have wanted to walk,
right? He might have not wanted to be a preacher,
right? But it was the family business, right? Yeah. So, and he's good. He's definitely a great speaker.
Yeah, he did. I mean, when I was going through stuff, when I lost, my stuff at the jail,
right?
He helped me with his preaching,
right? Okay.
I don't follow him for how he lived,
right?
His preaching is awesome,
and that's the thing that people, and I say this a lot, when you understand the reason that you attend church,
right,
then you wouldn't be so eager to put that person on the pedestal, because understand God is just using them to speak through them and to deliver the message. But they are human at the end of the day. So if you got them on a pedestal and then they fall and you're lost, you wasn't going to church to worship God. You was going to worship man. And that's the difference. That is where a lot of church folk make their mistake.
Right.
So you can't get right because he fucked up. You fucked up because you were worshiping him.
Right.
And so you leave church every Sunday disappointed because you were never there for God. And that happens a lot.
Yeah. They're in church for the wrong reasons.
They're in church for the wrong reason. And I think that we have to be careful about that. I think that when he left, I think a lot of them church members were in an uproar again because they worshiped him and not God.
Wow, you're right.
You know, they were angry because he made a choice to upgrade himself.
Right.
How can you be angry?
Yeah.
Be happy for him.
Gotta get more money.
He was at as far as he could go here, so the man was entitled.
He was a top dog here.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
And that's a hard thing to do in Baltimore, to be the top dog.
That's definitely a hard thing to do.
You know? Because I think the only person that was near close to him is New Psalmist, you know?
Yeah. And I think, when you start thinking of somebody in that position, because I want to get back to the women for a second. Now, and this is not just in that church, but in all churches.
Right.
Some women have a thing for power. And the same way those men are looking out into the crayon box.
Right.
Women are doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And women are throwing themselves at these men with the hopes that they would be the next first lady. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to say that all of the blame lays at his door.
Right. It's
a lot of women that was throwing themselves his way with the hopes that he would pray for them.
Right. And how he carries himself.
Right. Exactly.
Because he's very
he's charismatic.
Yeah.
He's very
he
charismatic.
Carries himself a certain way.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And I don't know if he was taught that or did he just have it naturally.
Yeah, it was probably taught. It's natural and taught.
Because, plus he went to Morehouse. Morehouse guys normally carry themselves a certain way.
Exactly.
They become, like my little cousin, he 1 year at Morehouse. Before he went, wasn't talk. None of that. Now,
he's been taught.
Arrogant. I mean, he, self,
Yeah.
Just, you see the difference,
Yeah.
Automatically, that quick, it happens. So, because that environment that they put them boys in, they teach them how to become charismatic men.
Exactly. So, I mean, when you start thinking about philandering, I think a lot of times, especially in the church, women throw themselves at a lot of these ministers. And when it goes bad, they want to blow up the whole congregation,
Right. They come to house wreckers.
But one thing, and I remember this sermon he did a few years ago, he said it, he told you exactly how the game was played. He said, women, a man will say anything to see your thong, him included.
Right.
They wasn't listening. He
said himself included?
He didn't say himself included, but he just put it out there that men will say anything to see your thong.
Right.
So for those
I know.
Women
so he was taking the Cisco thing.
Yeah. Right, those women that were throwing themselves at him, it was a message.
Right.
I'm not exempt.
Right.
I might tell you anything to see your thong too. Don't think because I'm up here that I don't have needs.
Right. He said that?
No, I'm just telling you.
I was just saying right in general.
Yeah.
Okay. Because he would say something like that and get away with it.
Right, but he told them a man will say anything to see your thong, and I think that was his way of saying, basically, I'm no exception.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I thought I was like, oh, that was a very smart message, but how many of them received it?
Right.
You know, because I guarantee you the panties never stopped coming his way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It definitely ain't stopping now.
That probably turned him on even more.
He probably just move a little different.
Exactly. So, but yeah, he's had some, like you say, he's had some good ones. I don't want to just single him out because there are a lot of ministers that are preying on their congregation. And I think that that's unfortunate when you are there to help and you're doing more harm. Because a lot of these women are coming from broken homes. They're looking for guidance. And that's another thing. When someone is nice to you and you're not used to it, you convince yourself that they're interested, even if they're not.
And that's not the case.
And it's not the case. And I'm going to be very honest. This happens to me a lot because I'm very friendly.
Sociable, right.
Yeah. And so there's always somebody that wants to try their hand because they've convinced themselves that I'm interested.
Right.
And I'm not. But it doesn't stop them from trying their hand. And what I realize is there are a lot of people that aren't used to people being nice to them without wanting them or without wanting something from them.
Right.
So when they get somebody, male or, female, that's nice, they think it means more than that.
Right.
It's a strange time now because sometimes I feel like, damn, should I be nice because I don't want them to think that I'm trying to holler?
Right.
Because then people start acting funny. Somebody who I thought was a good business contact.
Right.
They kind of said some things out of context about me that got back to me.
Oh, wow.
And I lost respect for them as a friend or business person because never did I give that impression. And the thing about me, no matter how I feel about somebody, if you wanted to do business with them, you're never going to hear me say anything negative about them.
Right.
Because your experience with them might be different than mine.
Absolutely.
So I never do that. So when I found out by a couple of different people that this person was kind of saying some off the wall things, it was hurtful.
Okay.
Yeah, it was definitely hurtful. So
did you ever confront him? Or you left it alone?
I felt like it wasn't worth the conversation.
Sometimes it's not.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not.
It wasn't. I don't feel like arguing. If that's how you felt, so be it. I can't change the way you feel or how you see things. But would I do business with them? No.
Right.
And I'm trying, in my mind, I kept playing back different incidents that we were in the same company, and never was it anything where it was sexual or it was always business. So how could you assume that? Now, if you like me, I have nothing to do with that.
Right.
So, but don't badmouth me.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to do that.
Why people do that? You know what I'm saying?
I feel like it's not productive. Not only is it not productive, I also feel like it goes to your integrity.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. So I feel like if you have a problem with somebody, instead of taking it to all these different people,
no, you gotta take it to them.
Take it to them, and you can even come and say,
it's a way how to say it.
You made me feel like we had something. Let's start there. You know what I'm saying? Let's start there. Because I'm always gonna be an adult about my shit.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I can't be anything else but who I am.
Right.
And if I made you feel a certain kind of way, let's talk about it.
Right.
I'd rather you come to me than to go to someone else and say she's blah 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 that.
Right.
Because a couple of people said I thought that the two of you had something going on.
Right. Well, I'm gonna come from me being a CEO of this whole station. I do think it is females. See, me, I will fuck up some pussy. I'm known for fucking up some pussy. Like, and my homeboys tell me like, yo, yo, you know you fucked up. I'm like, oh well, you know.
Yeah.
Because some things ain't meant for me to have.
Yeah.
But from me being in a power position, even with this quote unquote, as we said, this low ass station.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
that's hate.
Yeah, but you know how it is. But I do think females do get fresh with me to try to get me to do certain things. Plus me being a DJ, it happens. But I'm so strong and so business strong minded now that I'm like, nah. Yeah, I may be attractive to her. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I will screw her.
Right.
But do I want to fuck up that business?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, especially here in Baltimore,
right.
You do something bad. Or you say, you try to, you know what I'm saying? You using them for your position.
Right.
As a DJ, entertainer, whatever, could be all in the public eye. It gets out.
Right.
And then people say, oh, yo, he fucking his clients.
Yeah,
feel what I'm
exactly.
Saying?
Even if
you go to mix station, Nick gonna put that belly on you.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not that type of guy.
And you bring up a great point because I always say, even with doing this show, I'm mindful on how I do things.
Right.
Because let's say he does something and all they're going to see, not so much him, they're going to see the Intimacy Chronicles.
Right.
And they're not going to want to do business with the Intimacy Chronicles because of one person.
Right.
So I try to be careful of that because at the end of the day, I'm the one taking all the risk.
Right.
You know, and people, I think sometimes don't understand that. I look at like...
Yeah, because things move very fast.
Things move very fast, and when you're messy...
Yeah, it's going to come out.
It's going to come out.
Yeah.
So I'm always mindful of that. I think like I value my professionalism.
Right. And luckily here we had that happen in the early stages. Whereas though messy people was here.
Yeah.
It was messy business.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So a lot of that had to get cleared away.
Right.
Now I see the growth. You know what I'm saying?
And that makes a difference. Yeah, that makes a difference. I think that when, especially now that like I'm starting to get like national attention,
right,
I really have to be, and that's what they're always on me about. You gotta protect your brand,
right?
You know,
you gotta be in the right place.
Exactly. So as I'm building, I don't want somebody coming along and saying or doing messy business because then it comes back to my door.
Right.
You know, so.
And see, and that's why I think we're starting to grow.
Yeah.
We're looking in the DC market, getting a station there.
Right.
Eastern Shore, setting up a station there. You know what I'm saying? A lot of stations, internet stations, are not doing that.
Right.
They're just located and probably be in the same spot. You know what I'm saying? I only been at this thing since 2016.
Wow.
You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
And the first year, we wasn't really out. You know what I'm saying? The first year was trial and error.
Right.
So really 2017 was when I started bringing people in for shows.
Right.
You know, redoing the space, making the space look better, stuff like that. And it's still growing. So it's like you have to really, really, really be focused.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? You really have to be focused.
Yeah.
Don't put that ass over business. You know what I mean? That's my shit. I'm not gonna put no ass over business. You can be the fattest thing.
It can
you know
fuck
what I'm saying?
up your brand, and that's the thing. It's always to protect your brand.
Right.
I think a lot of people don't understand that. A lot of people don't understand it because they lack professionalism.
Right.
You know, they lack commitment. They're not building a brand. So when I tell people, oh no, I gotta protect my brand, I think some people look at it like, who the fuck does she think she is? But I understand it. I understand that certain things I can't be tied to.
Right.
You know, because whatever happens, it comes back to my door. I cannot be tied to mess.
Right. And you can be friendly with the people who you do business with, but you can't become super duper friends.
You can't, exactly.
Because they take that shit very personal.
They
you know
think
what I mean?
that they are entitled. Exactly.
That's the word right there.
They begin to think that they're entitled and shit costs.
Yeah, because the most people that I put in place to really do things here are people that been with me forever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
My vice presidents are my brother and my homeboy.
Right.
Who been with me since I've been in this space when it was a regular when it was a regular studio 15 years ago.
Right.
They people who I can trust because I know what they're going to do before they do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's, you just got to be mindful because a lot of people will come and go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you know what I'm saying? When I first started this station, I had about 10 people with me.
Mm-hmm.
10 people. DJs, all that. You know how many is still with me?
How many?
3.
Wow.
3 to 5.
And sometimes you gotta weed out people. When I went to the other station, I think I started doing the show at a restaurant called Echo. My cousin owned the restaurant.
Right.
I shopped the show around to a couple of online stations. They picked it up. And so I was excited. I didn't even tell my co-host at the time. I had a girl and a guy. When I finally met with them and I decided I was going to move forward, what was it? The couple of days before the actual show.
The first show?
They
reneged.
backed out. And they thought that I was going to back out. And I was like, fuck it. Right. I'm going to do it even if I have to do it by myself.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that people don't know
gotta
me
go out
well.
there.
That was a big miscalculation on their part.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I did the show. I had station owner as my co-host, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, no one stops me from doing what I want to do.
Yeah.
You know,
because people will step up quick.
Yeah,
I know
exactly.
You know, I can make some phone calls, and they like, yo, I'm there. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Because they know I'm a serious guy about my business.
Right.
Like people cannot call me and try to hope I give them some information.
Right.
I'm not that type of person.
Mm-hmm.
No. You know what I'm saying? When you call me, it's about, all right, what you need done, I'm going to get it done.
Right.
You going to pay me on time, and that's what it's going to be.
Right.
Don't call me on no possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'll possibly thinking, can you DJ that? All right, I need a deposit.
Right.
You got to give me a deposit to hold me for that date. You can't just call me and give me a date, and then 2 days before you canceling on me.
Right.
Who loses?
Exactly.
I lose.
They don't understand that because it's not them on the losing end.
You know what I'm saying?
You know, I think sometimes, and I feel like it's hard, and I think Terrence touched on this, when you are black and have your own,
they want the hookup.
Exactly. But you're not going to ask Susie to give you the hookup. You're going to pay that full goddamn price and be happy with it. You know? So it is a difference. I think that we're not great at supporting our own. And then when we do, we act like they should kiss your ass because you're supporting.
Right. Yeah.
I brought up, I know we're like at the end, but I have to touch on this. When I was coming up, there was a couple of black-owned stores in the neighborhood.
Okay.
And then we had Mr. Teddy who had the cleaners. Sometimes we didn't always have enough money for our shit, but because we were in the community, he looked out. Right. I feel like we stopped protecting our community.
Yeah.
And we let other groups come in and run those mom and pop stores out.
We going to the Chinese stores calling them Ma.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You give the Chinese lady more respect than your own mother.
Exactly. But we had all those stores. We had like the people that had the snowball stands, the freeze cup,
penny candy stores.
We had all of that in our community.
Yeah.
And I love that sense of community, but we lost that because now we don't even have our own businesses in our community. And that's our fault.
Yeah.
That's our fault for not fighting, for being lazy, for compromising in terms of price. Well, the Johnson's price is high, but
we so hard. We hard on black businesses.
But Kim Lee is giving me a free comb.
Black people look for
shit.
anything negative from a black business.
Exactly, and that is
Damn,
why
come on
we
time.
don't
They ain't never open.
Yeah, that is
You
why
know what
we
I mean?
don't own the stores in our community. It is that mentality that let other groups come in and take over.
And then the business owners complain, why I'm going, they don't support me. They don't support you because you're not doing business right.
Right, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Terrence is one of the one businesses that I say, if he say I'm gonna open at 8, he's gonna be open at 8.
And
you know what I'm saying?
That's true. And I gotta
he
give him
may
a
change
shout
his
out.
hours. He'll change his hours on your ass quick.
He will
though.
change his hours.
If he see that 8 o'clock ain't nobody coming in at 8, we going back
right.
to 10.
Goddamn
you know
right.
what I'm saying? And you can't knock that.
It makes sense.
Right.
It makes sense. Shout out to Terra Cafe.
Definitely,
Terrence
definitely.
Dixon, the owner. I mean, definitely. I feel like he's such a great businessman. But not only that, he does a lot for the community.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
And I don't mind supporting businesses like that. And if I have to give another shout out, definitely to Umar Boxing.
Yeah.
Because he does a lot for his community
Yes,
as
he does.
well. And every Wednesday he gives away free food.
Wow.
Every Wednesday.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So,
and there's a lot of spots in the city, like Langston Hughes with Mr. George Mitchell.
Yeah.
Awesome. A lot of stuff going on over there.
Right.
I'm getting ready to try to take the cybersecurity class for free over there.
Okay.
You know? So it's a lot of stuff in our communities that we're not taking advantage of it.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely. And I mean, like with Marvin, I think people come from other countries to model after his program.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
He has all kind of groups coming from all over the world to visit for a couple of weeks so that they can build their program after his.
Wow.
And believe it or not, even with him being in business as long as he has, I think he's now starting to get recognized by the city.
Wow, that's crazy.
That is crazy.
That's crazy.
So
the city of Baltimore, it's getting better. It's getting
better. But we got a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's because, of, I'm going to say the past people that been in there, they really not focused on the city.
They're focused on their own
pockets.
Financial gain. Yeah. And if you're gonna do that, please don't fucking be arrogant about it. You know what I'm saying?
That's why I like Jack, because Jack's so raw.
Jack is from the hood. I mean, he grew up in East Baltimore.
Most
yeah.
You know that's my godfather, so I know him personally. But he raw, man. He raw.
My mom used to always say, "Oh, I know that boy is gonna be somebody." He used to, no matter how many times he walked through Ashland. He see my mom and Miss Mousy on the porch. He would speak 5 or 6 times if he's walking through there. He was such a good guy.
Yeah. And this before politics.
This before politics, exactly. Right. He's always been well mannered. Everybody liked him. So I'm happy that he's in office and hope that he keeps the seat.
Yeah. Because it's a lot of cutthroating going on.
I hear. I'll be hearing different stories.
I mean, you don't gotta hear it; you can see it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I'm like, okay, the gloves are off.
Yeah.
Now
because we got the pop up. I call him Pop Tart.
Right.
I ain't gonna say his name, but I call him the Pop Tart.
And I know
because every time there's a camera,
he's right.
You
there.
gonna see him?
He's right
call
there.
Him Pop Tart Central.
And it's sad because I felt like at some point
he got to wait his turn. He got to wait his turn.
Exactly.
He's next in line.
He's not
but
ready.
He cannot
he's too
do
young.
It.
Yeah, he cannot
too
do
young,
it.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say because of young. He's just not ready.
Right.
He's just not ready. But he think he is. So
yeah, he's Pop-Tarting.
Yeah.
Maybe the listeners will figure that out.
Yeah, they probably already know. Exactly.
You see any camera or any situation, no matter what time, he's there.
Absolutely. So we're going to close out tonight. I want to thank Facebookers, YouTubers, and Instagrammers for tuning in.
So what you got going on this week?
This week, absolutely nothing.
Okay.
I think next week is going to be the last show, and then I leave.
Right.
So we won't be back until October. I'm going to try to do a Halloween battle of the sexes.
Well, we're doing a masquerade party October 26th.
When is that?
We doing it at Expectations.
Okay.
Yeah. So you get your stuff all together.
So we can do our.
We might can do something there. Yeah,
let's do something there. Okay.
Yeah, we might do something before the party or something.
Okay.
A special Intimacy
special
Chronicles.
Halloween shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I already got an idea.
Yeah.
You gonna come dress up?
Yeah, I'm definitely dressing
Not
up.
for there. I mean, if we do something here.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
And we might can bring in a promoter for the party that's doing.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we do something crazy.
Yeah, we gotta do something crazy. I do a Halloween show every year, so I like costumes.
We can do it the week of the party or the week after the party. It don't matter.
Okay, we'll work it out.
Yeah, we'll work it out.
Yeah, so all right, folks. Good night, and we will see you next Tuesday, same time, same place.
All right, y'all. We out.
All right. That was good.